Hey, I don't know how long I've waited to reach chapter 3 of this beautiful book, The Fascinating Story of KIBEHO, because it's really detailed. And I promise you, if you don't follow these videos, you never know what. I'm kidding. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're having a great time. As we draw near to Christmas, I think the best way we would have a greater understanding of this mystery of God made man is getting closer to Mother Mary. Let's know what she does. How does she do her thing? I know, like I really want you guys to be attentive to this chapter, because it explains to us the things which we do not understand. Why did she choose these visionaries? So we are diving into the story of Alphonsine. In chapter 2, when I was starting, I just gave this book actually just gave a short summary of who Alphonsine is. But chapter 3, let's go. Who is Alphonsine? So we had a brief insight into Alphonsine's background in chapter 2 of this book. However, that did not cover all about her life and didn't explain her experience as a seer. After that afternoon of the 28th of November 1981, whoever pondered on what happened at KIBEHO College had a few questions running in their mind. Some of those questions included the following. Who is Alphonsine? What kind of person is she? How dare she claim to have conversed with the Blessed Virgin Mary? Who is she to say that the Virgin Mary came from heaven to visit her? When God chooses you, these are the questions they will ask. Because most of the time, God's ways are not our ways. And we really cannot fathom, we are not able to understand why God does certain things until maybe we sit down and look back and say, what if it was not this? Those are the things which we always have to realize how much God loves us and why He has chosen us. Sit back and ask yourself, what if I wasn't here? And I was still where I was. You will get an answer for yourself, and you will know why God did what He did. He knew you were going to be either going through a lot if you had remained where you were. He knew you were going to have a lot of challenges. And remember, He doesn't give you a battle you cannot overcome. So even if you're struggling where you are and you're like, why don't we go back? Please don't be like the Israelites. Don't think of going back to Egypt. Let's go to Canaan. Okay, so some people felt that it was not only very presumptuous of her, but it was also a sign of her unstable mental state. Within the school environment itself, very few people knew who she was. As we saw earlier, Alphonsine was a new student in KIBEHO College. Very few students and teachers knew about her. She had just begun year 1 and she had arrived 2 weeks after the official opening of the school. The events of Saturday, 28th November 1981 made Alphonsine an interesting subject to the whole environment. Henceforth, everyone wanted to know all about her. How she came to KIBEHO College, who she was, where she came from, and why she arrived at the school later than the others. According to what was discovered, many concluded that even her admission into KIBEHO College was a miracle by itself. Indeed it was. I hope we remember what we studied. Or not what we studied, but what we read. It was a miracle. We know, as earlier explained, her primary living results were not the best. But due to one of her relatives' interventions, she was allowed to continue to the next level of education with the help of a letter from the Ministry of Education, which introduced her to the authority of KIBEHO College. You see, you are not known by anybody, but hey, Ministry of Education is the one which introduced. Please, you cannot leave God. I'm begging you. God does. I don't want to call them miraculous things. And I don't want to call them weird things. But the things he does, I have no name for them, because every name I give them is either an insult or an understatement. You people, God. Okay. So, when she arrived at KIBEHO College, Alphonsine found the college full of capacity. All vacancies intended for that year were full. However, the sisters in the administration of that school did all they could to fix her, and she was added to the list of new entrants of 1981-1982 academic year intake. Alphonsine was received in the college a few months before the operations began. Here is where we ought to ask ourselves, was the admission of this girl into KIBEHO College by divine intervention? Was she meant to be in that very place waiting to be visited by the Blessed Virgin Mary? Is this the very reason as to why everything about her admission went more smoothly than even she herself expected? The answers to all these questions may not be definite in our minds, but anyone who does a close examination of Alphonsine's arrival in KIBEHO College in retrospection cannot fail to recognize God's hands in the whole arrangement. We talked about her life, her birthplace, and her history as a child. And if we recall what we read in chapter 2, there is nothing in her life or her behavior that foretold of this great favor that was to be bestowed upon her later in life. Just like Mother Mary, she was not known. Even if we are to go through Luke, we do not see, I don't know those, I don't know the Bible very well, but there are those big towns which, when you would hear that someone comes from there. Remember when they said that, what good comes from Nazareth? Isn't that the carpenter's son? You see? Nothing was known about Mother Mary, but God elevated her, and this is just the same thing she did for Alphonsine. So after her admission into KIBEHO College, all preparations were made for Alphonsine to join and begin her studies. However, with the state of affairs in her home, she couldn't make it on the opening day with the rest of the students. She reported 2 weeks later and had a lot to catch up with as far as her studies are concerned. KIBEHO College was the farthest Alphonsine had ever been from home. This caused a bit of nervousness in her. For a girl from her kind of family, now far from the only security she had ever known, her mother's bosom, being at KIBEHO College was not as exciting as she hoped. At least not in the start. It did not help matters that she had 2 weeks worth of classwork to catch up on. With that disappointing period, you know I'm laughing. Sometimes you get a blessing, but the way it comes, the blessing, the way it comes, now it can pull your leg. But persevere in prayer. Even if it's pulling your leg, you say, God, I am with you. God loves people who die. You see people who die like that. I've never been to the swamp before, but I hear there are those black, I don't know that they're called leeches. They stick no matter what. You bring fire, you beat it, you scratch it, it sticks there. Stick on God like that, you will not regret. You will never regret. So with her disappointing PLE results before, she knew she had to work harder if her future dreams were to be alive again. With this new opportunity in KIBEHO College, Alphonsine threw herself into a very tight timetable, working tirelessly, pulling all the strength within her to catch up with her classmates. At times, this called for her to work beyond the set school study timetable. During this hectic period of Alphonsine trying to work hard in class and at the same time fidgeting to fit into the new community, she was overwhelmed and she fell sick. This sickness came about at the beginning of November 1981. The school authority judged her sickness serious enough to require medical attention. On the 9th of November 1981, she was taken to Butare University Hospital for thorough checkup and treatment. After all the checkups, the doctors who handled her case did not find anything alarming. Hers was a case of sheer fatigue and anxiety. She had no disease or infection within her body. The conclusion made was that she was too stressed and needed to take a rest. She was treated with simple sedative, diazepam tablets for some days to help her rest, and then she was discharged. She was, however, advised not to overpush herself, but to try and follow her lessons normally as the school timetable directed. By 23rd November 1981, as a matter of fact, Alphonsine was already in class, following her lessons normally and trying very hard to adhere to the doctor's warnings. That was about 5 days before she was visited by her mysterious visitor, who came on Saturday, the 28th of November. This is the event that changed Alphonsine's life and future plans forever. From the facts above, it becomes very evident that by 28 November 1981, Alphonsine was just an ordinary student, barely known by the people in her school environment. Even those who knew about her just knew her as the sickly girl from Gisaka. Alphonsine's classmates had noticed how easily she got frightened by any slight noise. The teenagers being what they are, some of them took it for fun, to frighten her, just for amusement and laughter. Such a combination of insignificant factors in her frail nature continued to make a number of students suspicious of Alphonsine. Most of those who learned about her coming from Gisaka used this fact to torment her and hurt her intentionally. The inhabitants of Gisaka were suspected of having a way of tampering with the evil spirits. This was thrown at Alphonsine all the time and used by many to pass judgment upon her on what kind of person she is. Please don't do that, I beg you. In the name of whatever you call great, in the name of whatever you look at as great, don't use the background of or place where a person stays to judge them. You see this thing of you meet someone the first time and you're busy discussing and they're like, which tribe are you? Please, calm down. This life does not move on tribes. Because if I give you my tribe, you're going to judge me based on my tribe. And most people who know me, by the way, they know I don't like answering such questions. Even if it's just I'm like, so that what? We've just met, we have not even, so that what? Please, avoid judging people. You don't know. Sometimes you're seated with somebody who really wants to be like you, surely. And they keep on dreaming, one day I'll be like this person. And then you hurl an insult at the person. Do you see how you lose vocations? Instead of being an inspiration, you are a scarecrow. Stop judging people. Basic, even if the person likes black. I have one tendency of disturbing people who are quiet. There are people who people who really keep quiet, and for me, I always worry about them. They're always thinking. So I like disturbing those people. But not because that quiet people do this. No, they're always thinking, and most of the time they are knowledgeable people who are quiet. That's what for me I have discovered in my own small research. I'm not judging them. Not all of them may be intelligent, but that's what I think according to my small research. But that is a good judgment. But then there is you. You see someone behaving in a certain way, and all of a sudden you say, since people who dress like this behave like this, even this one is part of that. How do you know? We need to watch the way we judge people. So I can imagine now what these people did when they finally authenticated that these are the visionaries. How were they feeling? They even didn't know how they were going to say, please, Alphonsine, can I have your biscuit? Can I have a piece of bread? Can I pass? Me there, judging people far. So in addition to all the above rather childish views after the events of 28 November 1981, some students were interrogated on the character of Alphonsine. These mentioned another factor that they deemed negative as well, a factor that had led many not to like her. A number of students said she was a spy among them because she frequented the sisters' premises more often than any other student. At first sight, this comment may pass as of no importance, but for the students, it was not good because such a character was suspected to take some information to the school authority to report or accuse others of certain things. On the other hand, any educationist, parent, or mature person can easily connect this character of Alphonsine to her background. Since this young girl lived only with her dear mother, with whom she shared a close bond, she might have developed a certain kind of trust and appreciation to the figure of a mother, which she might have seen in the sisters who were in charge of KIBEHO College. When it came to the sisters' turn to talk about Alphonsine's character, they confirmed that they had noticed in her a certain kind of openness and trust befitting any well-behaved girl of her age. For them, it was a very positive value and a healthy relationship between a girl and a mother and nothing else. Yes, certain things happen. We don't get chance to do with our parents all the time, but if we can find a figure person, a person who can be like that parent you've been having, it's not a bad idea. But the problem is that when you start, human beings and their brains which create. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best of your lives, of your week, of your year. And the week of Christmas is coming. How is Christ finding you prepared? Do you know him more than you knew him last year? Let us be prepared to receive Christ with open hearts and a better version of ourselves from the last Christmas. Thank you all. I love you so much.